They always say, "I don't know what's wrong with me." But if we're honest, you do know the pattern. You just don't want to admit how predictable it has become. It's not random. It's not mysterious. It's not that you're fine all day and then temptation just ambushes you out of nowhere. It hits at the same time, same hour, same feeling, same scroll, same room, same loneliness, same tired brain, same split-second decision, same regret. And what scares you most isn't only that you fell again. It's that you're starting to recognize the schedule. Listen to me closely. The enemy doesn't need new tricks if you keep giving him the same window. That window is your battle window. And your battle window is not random. Most believers keep fighting the sin at the final moment when the urge is already loud and their willpower is already low. That's like trying to stop a train by yelling at it when it's already inches from you. You don't win by shouting at the last second. You win by changing the tracks earlier. So let's stop doing the thing we've been doing for years, acting surprised. Because surprise is the lie that keeps you unprepared. Wow, it happened again. No way, I can't believe I did that. I don't even know how I got here. You got there the same way you always get there. One predictable chain, repeated until it feels like destiny. And I'm not saying that to shame you. I'm saying it because this is actually your hope. If it's predictable, it's interruptible. If it has a schedule, it can be ambushed. If it has a doorway, it can be closed. If it has a pattern, it can be broken. But only if you stop trying to beat it with emotion and start beating it with strategy. Because praying is powerful, yes. But praying without changing your pattern is like asking God to keep your house from burning while you keep leaving the stove on every night. And deep down, you know it. That's why you feel that tired kind of shame. Not the loud panic shame, the quiet sigh, the "here we go again" shame. So tonight, I want to pull you out of the fog and hand you something most people never get: clarity. Here's the truth nobody wants to say out loud. You are not only fighting a sin, you are fighting a routine. A routine built from time, place, trigger, and access. Time, when you're weakest. Place, where you're most alone. Trigger, what you're trying to avoid feeling. Access, what makes it easy. Those four things are the frame around your fall. And if you want to stop falling, you don't only need a stronger no, you need a smarter before, because your failure usually begins long before the act. It begins when you skip rest, when you keep your phone close at night, when you let your mind spiral with no guardrails, when you isolate, when you don't eat and your body is shaky, when you watch harmless content that warms up the appetite, when you stay in the room you always fall in, when you delay prayer until you're already burning, when you say, "I'll be strong later." Later is when you lose, always. So let me ask you a question that feels too simple, but it exposes everything. If I looked at the last 5 times you fell, could I predict the next one? Most likely, yes. And if I can predict it, then you can prepare for it. That's your turning point. Not, "I'm going to try harder." Not, "I'm going to hate myself less." Not, "I'm going to make a bigger promise." No. Your turning point is, "I'm going to learn my battle window and change what happens inside it," because you don't usually fall at noon when you're active, seen, and focused. You fall when you're tired, when you're alone, when you're overstimulated, when you're emotionally hungry, when the day has drained you, when nobody is watching, when your mind is looking for relief. So stop treating your fall like a moral mystery. Start treating it like a predictable relapse loop. Here's what the loop usually looks like, even if the details change. Pressure builds. Your brain gets restless. Your heart feels empty. You tell yourself you deserve a break. You reach for a shortcut comfort. You cross a tiny line, then another, then the big line, then the crash, then the apology, then the vow, then the slow drift back into the same environment, then the next trigger hits. It's not one decision. It's a chain of small decisions, and the chain always has an early link. That early link is where you win. Because you don't have to be strong at the end if you are wise at the beginning. Now, let me say something that might sting, but it will set you free. Your battle window is not proof you're hopeless. It's proof you're human. Humans have rhythms. Bodies have limits. Emotions have patterns. Stress has effects. Loneliness has weight. Overstimulation has consequences. The goal is not to pretend you're above those things. The goal is to build your life with enough wisdom that your weakness doesn't become your downfall. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to map your battle window like a detective, not judge it like a prosecutor. Because a prosecutor only says, guilty. A detective says, how did it happen? And how is where freedom is built. Tonight, write this down somewhere private, not the graphic details, just the pattern. What time did it happen? Where were you? What were you feeling right before it? What were you doing 30 minutes before it? What was the first small compromise? What did you tell yourself to justify it? What did you actually need in that moment? If you do this honestly, you will feel something surprising. Power. Not the fake power of, I'm never doing this again. The real power of, I see it now. Because darkness thrives on vagueness. Light thrives on specifics. And your brain hates specifics when it wants to keep a habit. That's why you avoid analyzing. Because analyzing threatens the comfort loop. But you can't heal what you refuse to name. Now, let's talk about the most overlooked part. What you actually need. Most repeated sins are not only about desire, they're about relief. Relief from stress, relief from loneliness, relief from boredom, relief from insecurity, relief from rejection, relief from anxiety, relief from the pressure of being good, relief from the ache you don't talk about, and the sin becomes a counterfeit comfort. That's why it keeps calling you back. It doesn't only feel tempting, it feels useful. It does a job for you. So if you keep attacking it like it's only pleasure, you'll keep losing. Because you won't replace what it provides. This is why you can pray sincerely and still fall. Because you're praying against the behavior while secretly needing what the behavior gives you. So here's the mirror moment. What are you medicating with your sin? Be honest. Is it the feeling of being in control? Is it the ability to escape your thoughts? Is it the numbness that quiets your anxiety? Is it the comfort you don't know how to get elsewhere? Is it the reward you feel you earned after a hard day? Because once you name the medication, you can treat the wound instead of only punishing the symptom. Now, here's the twist most believers miss. Your battle window is often a mercy window. It's the time God is exposing the place where you are most vulnerable so you stop living like you can handle it. It's not God watching you fail like entertainment. It's God shining a light on the exact moment you need a new plan. Because God doesn't just forgive you after you fall. He also offers you wisdom before you fall. And wisdom looks like this. You stop putting yourself in the same trap and calling it a lack of willpower. No, it's not only willpower, it's access. If you keep leaving the door unlocked, don't be shocked when the thief returns. So I'm going to give you a battle window strategy that is so practical it will offend your pride. But pride is what keeps people stuck. Freedom is humble. Step 1. Identify your danger hour, not all day, not sometimes. The hour you fall the most. For many people, it's late night. For some, it's right after work. For others, it's mid-afternoon slump. For some, it's weekends when structure disappears. Whatever it is, name it. Step 2. Build a fence before the hour starts, not during, before. If your danger hour is 11 p.m., then your fence starts at 10:15. If your danger hour is 6 p.m., your fence starts at 5:15. Why? Because you don't fight fire when the house is already burning. You fight it when you smell smoke. And the fence is not a vibe. It's a decision you make in advance. Phone out of the room. Notifications off. No lying in bed with the screen. No harmless warm-up content. No isolation. No being hungry and tired alone. No open tabs. No secret access. Is that strict? Good. Wars are strict. You don't call it legalism when you lock your door at night. You call it wisdom. So stop calling boundaries extreme when they are simply protection. Step 3. Replace the ritual, not only the sin. Because your brain has a ritual, a pathway, a sequence. Maybe it's bed to phone to scroll to temptation to fall. Maybe it's stress to isolation to I deserve this to fall. Maybe it's boredom to just check to fall. So you create a new sequence that starts earlier. Bed to phone across the room, to warm shower, to water, to 2 minutes of prayer out loud, to short scripture, paragraph to lights out. Stress to 5-minute walk, to breathe, to quick message to a trusted friend, to simple prayer, to eat something, to rest. Boredom to clean one thing, to short workout, to music that calms, to journal 1 page, to pray 1 honest sentence. You are not trying to be spiritual, you are trying to be free. And freedom often looks boring at first. Because sin is exciting, wisdom is steady, but steady wins. Step 4. Practice the 2 steps earlier rule. This will change everything if you actually do it. Don't try to fight at the climax, fight 2 steps earlier. If you always fall after the first click, then the victory is refusing the first click. If you always fall after you stay up too late, the victory is going to bed earlier. If you always fall after you isolate, the victory is texting someone before you're alone too long. If you always fall after you scroll in silence, the victory is putting the phone away before the silence becomes a craving. Win earlier and you won't need a heroic finale. Step 5. Stop making forgiveness your only plan. This one is tender but necessary. Forgiveness is real. Grace is real. God is patient. But if you keep using prayer only after the fall, you turn prayer into a rinse cycle instead of a relationship. The breakthrough prayer is not only God forgive me. The breakthrough prayer is God I'm being pulled right now. Give me the exit. In the moment, not later. Out loud if possible. Whisper it like it's oxygen. Because temptation thrives in secrecy and silence. Speaking breaks the spell. Now let's talk about why the same time of day feels so strong. There's a reason. And it's not only spiritual. You have a nervous system. And your nervous system has learned that at a certain time, you switch from survival mode to escape mode. All day you perform. All day you hold it together. All day you try to be disciplined. Then your body reaches the end of itself and says, I want relief. And if the easiest relief is the sin, your body will reach for it like a reflex. This is why you can be sincere and still struggle. Because your spirit loves God, but your body has been trained. So the battle is not only spiritual feelings, it's spiritual training. And training requires repetition. That's why I'm going to give you a 7-day battle window challenge that is realistic, not dramatic. For 7 days, you will protect the danger hour like it's sacred, not because you're holy, because you're human. For 7 days, you will do 3 things. 1, you will remove 1 major access point before the hour, 1 app, 1 site, 1 device location, 1 routine that makes it easy. 1. 2, you will replace the ritual with a planned sequence, not, I'll do something else, a real sequence you decide now. 3, you will do 1 now prayer inside the hour, not long, the 1 sentence. God, I'm being pulled. Help me choose you now. And here's what will happen. The first 2 days may feel worse. Don't panic. Of course it will feel worse. You're taking away the anesthesia. When people stop numbing, they start feeling. That's not failure. That's healing beginning. You might feel restless, irritable, bored, sad. That doesn't mean God is far. It means your body is withdrawing from a counterfeit comfort. Stay. Because peace doesn't arrive where you keep escaping. Peace arrives where you remain. Now, I need to speak to the person who says, but I've tried this before. I believe you, but be honest. You tried it without light. You tried it alone. You tried it with secret access still available. You tried it while still feeding the appetite during the day. You tried it with no plan for the danger hour. You tried it with big promises and no fences. That's not a fair fight. So here's the part that will either offend you or free you. You may need help, real help. 1 trusted person, 1 accountability relationship, 1 mentor, 1 mature believer, 1 friend who will check on you, not shame you. Because isolation is where the lie sounds believable. When you are alone, temptation says, it won't matter. When you are known, temptation loses its voice. And I know the fear is real. What if they judge me? Choose wisely. Not everybody deserves your confession, but somebody does. Because God never designed you to fight alone. And when you bring it into light, something changes inside you. You stop being 2 people. You stop performing. You stop carrying the secret weight. And that alone weakens the cycle. Now we're coming to the climax, and I want you to feel it, because this is the turning point. Your battle window is not random, but your fall is not inevitable. You have been telling yourself, when that hour comes, I'm doomed. That's a lie. That hour is not a sentence, it's a signal that you need food, rest, connection, silence, truth, prayer, boundaries, or surrender. And the reason you keep losing is not because you don't love God. It's because you keep walking into the hour unprepared and hoping your feelings will save you. Feelings won't save you. A plan will. And God often moves through plans. Because God is not only a miracle worker, He's also a teacher, a shepherd. He leads you beside still waters by guiding your steps, not by teleporting you into maturity overnight. So here's your wake-up line. And I want you to remember it the next time the craving comes. I don't have to win the whole week right now. I only have to win this hour. And you win this hour by obeying 2 steps earlier, removing access, replacing the ritual, speaking the now prayer, and staying in the light. That's it. Not glamorous, not dramatic, but unstoppable over time. Now, let me give you a picture of what victory really looks like, because some of you are waiting for a moment where you never feel tempted again. That's not how most freedom begins. Freedom begins when the urge comes, and you do something different. You don't wait for the urge to disappear. You let the urge be there, and you choose a new path. That is spiritual authority. That is maturity. That is grace as power. And maybe you will still stumble sometimes, but you will no longer be blind. You will no longer be confused. You will no longer be living under the spell of, I don't know how this happens. You will know exactly how it happens. And because you know, you can interrupt it. So tonight, do the one thing that changes the future. Map your battle window and build your fence. Write the hour. Change the environment. Remove the access. Plan the replacement. Choose the one person. Pray before the fall, not only after. And when the danger hour arrives, don't panic. Don't bargain. Don't pretend you're strong. Just do the next right thing you already decided. Because the enemy is consistent, but so can you be. And let me end with a truth that sounds simple, but it's the kind of simple that saves lives. God is not waiting for you to be flawless, but He is waiting for you to stop calling your pattern mysterious and start walking in wisdom. Your battle window is not random, so don't walk into it unarmed again. Tell God the truth, build the fence, choose the light, and when the hour comes, choose now, not later, now. Let me make this painfully concrete with a picture you will recognize. It's 9:47 p.m. The day was heavy. You were strong in public. You smiled. You handled work. You answered messages. But inside, you're empty. Depleted people don't crave holiness first. They crave relief. So the whisper comes, just relax. And you think you are choosing rest, but you are actually choosing the old ritual. You sit where you always sit. You open what you always open. You tell yourself you'll stop at the first sign of danger, but you never do. Because you don't fall when you're thinking clearly. You fall when your brain is tired and your body is used to the path. This is why you need a plan that works when you're depleted, not a plan that only works when you're inspired. And here's something else that will save you. Your battle window has a warm-up. A warm-up is that content that isn't the sin, but it stirs the appetite. A warm-up is that conversation that isn't crossing the line, but it keeps the door open. A warm-up is staying up later than you should. A warm-up is letting yourself get hungry, overstimulated, and alone. So don't only remove the big thing, remove the warm-up. Because the warm-up is the match, the fall is the fire. Now I want to give you the moment that snaps the spell, because some of you are listening and you're already thinking, okay, but when it hits, I still feel pulled. Yes, that pull is real. So here's your emergency exit sentence. Memorize it. Use it out loud. This is my battle window. I saw you coming. Say it. Then do one physical action that breaks the ritual. Stand up, turn on a light, leave the room, drink water, wash your face, step outside, call someone. Anything that moves you from passive to active, because passivity is where temptation grows. Then pray one honest line. Not poetry, not performance. Jesus, give me the exit right now. and then take the exit like you mean it, because God almost always provides a way out, but you have to take it before you negotiate yourself into a corner. This is the climax, the moment you stop talking about freedom and start choosing it in real time. Not tomorrow morning, not after another failure, not when your emotions cooperate, now. And when you do this for a week, you'll notice something. The window still comes, but it loses power. The urge still whispers, but it isn't commanding you. The schedule still shows up, but you're no longer surprised. You become awake. So don't leave this as a message you nodded at. Do one concrete thing today. Write your danger hour, choose your fence start time, remove one access point, pick your replacement sequence, and tell one trusted person. Then, tonight, when the window opens, do your now prayer before the first compromise. That's how you break the cycle. Not with shame, not with hype, with light, wisdom, and a new response inside the same hour. Because your battle window's not random, and if you prepare for it, it will not own you.